Hello and welcome back. Hello, lads and ladies, first of all. We've got to get that in there, haven't we? It's Wednesday evening, which means one thing. It's a midweek review. 12 games in Sky Bet League One this week. Again, huge games, some big games, playoff fighting games, top of the table clashes, mid-table matchups, some big results, pulling teams out of that bottom area as well. Big results at the bottom as well. Some teams getting a couple of good results over the last couple of days. But to join me, we're not alone. We can't do it alone because we need someone. We are joined by my favourite tea lopper himself. Oh, I've gone. I've sent it the wrong link. I meant to go to Wardy. But Tom,
what's your favourite? That's a weird shout. No one's. Wardy's not anyone's favourite.
I tell you what he's like.
He's the rogue shout.
Say again.
He's the rogue shout. He's not the people's favourite.
He is the bounty of a box of celebration. And
the tea-lot bounty.
And he's like a fudge in a box of heroes. You know what I mean? And then you're like a Crunchy. Jake's like a Mars, typical, boyish man. And I'm just there like Dairy Milk, simple and plain. So I think
simple and plain.
What a start, by the way. We've already got the references in. Tom, how are we, mate? Good weekend. After 4-0 written all over it. After that, good result last night.
Yeah, what a way to bounce back. I'm extremely exhausted, Ben. I'll be honest with you. I was tucked up in bed at probably about 2:45 this morning. So it's been a long day today, but we're back at it. I'm delighted to be here with you to chat for an hour. And I was looking earlier on, obviously we do the prep for this, and it was actually quite an enjoyable one to prepare for. Lots of action. I think perhaps given my highest scoring T-Lot prediction week, by the way, we've got to get that in. There's a little spoiler. You had a good one as well, actually. I think you got quite a few. So one of the more predictable game weeks, perhaps. Some of the results
more agree.
Cool. Nonetheless, loads to get into. Another managerial casualty, which I'm sure we'll chat about, and perhaps not the one we would have expected to go next.
No, absolutely not. Again, hello, Hugh. I hope you're well, mate. Good to see you in here as well. Evening, all open, Ben. Just about thawed after last night's trip to tropical Wigan. It was freezing. Honestly, couldn't feel my face after I got in, which isn't a bad thing, to be fair. Always a friendly trip to the DW off the pitch, so not so much on it. Again, horrible record. And I kind of went, I don't want to go back here. And I'm kind of thinking, well, if this continues, I don't think I will be doing so. Be careful what you wish for, I think. Hello, you all right? Scooby-Doo, how are you? Got some work to do now, and he's proven that just fine. Hello, Jacob. Here he is, the main boy. Blues back to top of the league. Yeah.
Can I just ask, what is Channel 72? I haven't seen many videos from there in a little while. It's bizarre, isn't it?
He's got a desk. Remember that.
He's got a desk. He has got a desk. He has got a desk, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Classic cobblers. Shall we get into it? We'll start off with Barnsley. Now, very weird in the fact that Barnsley won 1-0, and the goal we'll come to in a bit. Wycombe so out of form. A couple of good draws in there, but defeats to Bolton, defeat here, defeat on Saturday to Reading. Slowly, Balloonfield's going on a streaky run. He went on a good run. Now he's on a bad run. There was questions asked about him at the start of this season after a poor end to last season where they lost at home to Exeter and they lost away at Lincoln. 20 points from 10 games after that. Since then, not been able to back it up. They were on for a 0-0 draw. It wasn't a glamorous tie, let's be honest. There was 4 shots on target in the whole game between two sides that you'd be expecting to play a lot better than they did.
Yeah.
Barnsley scored. Now, Strojček, the goalkeeper, goes down, pushed. He then drops the ball. Cosgrove picks the ball up, passes it into the back of the net. He is a player that scores a lot of late goals off the bench. He scored 12 last season in 40 for Plymouth. A lot of those coming off the bench in the early part of the season. It could be a huge goal, controversial. Your opinion, should it stand?
Yes, it should. It absolutely should. Yes. And I'm so glad that Darren Drysdale's kind of stuck to his guns and gone, you know what? You say push. It's a it's a mistake of his own making in the fact that he's. I don't want to stereotype against Wycombe because I think those days under Gareth Ainsworth, are kind of gone in terms of the pure time wasting, all that kind of thing, all the antics that is that so-called anti-football. It is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen, Ben. You're right. It's not a foul. It's really silly from the keeper. I'm glad he didn't buy into the antics and give the foul. You do obviously feel for Wycombe fans, given what was looking like, as you say, decent point away at Barnsley. And I think you'll agree with me, Ben, no team at this level turns the nose up at a point against Barnsley. I think everyone would absolutely take that away from home. Yes, they've been known over the last couple of years to deploy the time-wasting tactics and antics as a team, and there's always a chance it's going to catch you. And I think we saw that in earnest. It's a fabulous night for Herbie Kane more broadly. Jordan Williams probably had one of the bigger chances of the game for Barnsley, who had the lion's share of the game. Barry Cotter came pretty close as well. The Tykes are slowly but surely starting to turn that home form around, actually, Ben. 13 points from 9 games at Oakwell for them so far. Worrying, perhaps, I saw this earlier on, worrying from a Barnsley point of view that Northampton and Reading now, as a result of last night, have better home records than Barnsley. That's a little scary, isn't it?
It is, but their away record speaks for itself. 2 points per game, 18 from 9, one of the best in the division. In that top 6. When I was looking through it before, but Wycombe need to sort their act together. Barnes had no winning 3 prior to that, and kind of that goes back to the end of October, which is a month ago, with FA Cup, with international breaks. That feels like a long time ago. That Barnsley Fleetwood game was played where I went. Next up, Blackpool against Northampton. Blackpool had won 6 of the previous 12, beat Portsmouth at the weekend as well. And you were you were impressed with them, and they drew away at Fleetwood. Weren't great against Bolton. Failed to have a shot on target in that one. But in glimpses, they look good, Blackpool. Against Shrewsbury, they were ruthless. Against Stevenage, they were ruthless. And they can put teams to a sword. But unfortunately, they're a 1-2 team that are good one week, and then the next week, they're not quite as good. And that is the difference between your Portsmouths, your Oxfords, your Stevenages, your Bolton Wanderers, your Portsmouths. And then you've got your kind of Peterborough that, and maybe just in that close to that bracket, just above them, and then Derby as well. I'd probably put them in the same bracket as Derby, but Derby pulling off a couple of good results at the moment. Blackpool's 3rd defeat at home. It was a Bowie goal, 2 goals in 2. Really nice finish under Dan Grimshaw. Blackpool did get back in it with a goal through Jordan Rhodes. A nice header into the far corner. It seemed to take an age to go in. But again, the talking point of the game, James Husband, now, you cannot make that. It was an absolute comical error. And he plays in Sam Hoskins, probably the most dangerous man, in a cobbler's shirt, took home his 11th goal of the season. And that's 3 goals and 2 assists in his last 4 now. And he's absolutely flying. And in double digits, Northampton have got 3 wins in a row and pushing towards that middle part of the table.
And we've got to go there on Saturday as well. So that one will also... I mean, we've been saying it on T-Lop all season, how Northampton have been the wrong end of results by about a goal. It's nice to see them actually be the right end of a result for a change at a place such as Bloomfield Road. Sorry. It's what we love about League One, isn't it, Ben? Blackpool look like one of the best sides I've seen in a long time on Saturday, and they turn us over 4-0. And then Northampton turn out to Bloomfield Road and come away with probably what will end up being one of their biggest wins they'll have all season. And I mean that in the best way possible, because they're excellent. I'll build on what you said. Very close to being an opener for Mitchell Pinnock. I think it's actually all about the press from a Northampton point of view. It's the reason why they have that moment with that horrendous pass back or the missed pass from Husband is, yes, it's a dreadful pass back, but Sam Hoskins has to get that completely spot on, and he has to be sort of on his toes and ready to go. You're right. It's a fantastic finish under the keeper. Back-to-back goals for Kieran Bowie as well after his brilliant afternoon at the weekend. I really rate the celebration as well. Northampton could have had another through Sam Hoskins before half-time. I really like the way the Tangerines came back into the game. The ball's really nicely timed from Kenny Dougal, and you're right, it did take an age to go in. Rhodes involved again, teeing up Carl Joseph off the bench, and he really ought to have scored there. I come back to the press, Ben, from a Northampton point of view. The press turns 1 point into 3. It's as simple as that. And Hoskins capitalizes. It's a poor pass. He reads it really well. He still has a lot to do as well. It's from one of the tightest of angles to send the Cobblers home with a +3 on the road. Really good game, actually, that. I enjoyed watching it back.
Absolutely. Blackpool have got some tricky ties coming up. Carlisle coming to Bloomfield Road. They've sold out their allocation, which is good to see. Well supported Carlisle. Even last night, there was a good, I think, 500 in that away end at least. And then obviously they've got a trip to Cambridge, which will be a bit more difficult now as well. And they've got some tricky festive periods. Port Vale away, Burton away, which are never easy as well. Next up, Bristol Rovers against Leyton Orient. Leyton Orient, no win in 7. Drawn 5 of those. It's a late goal for Orient, an own goal in front of the new, away
Nice,
end.
isn't it?
It is quite nice. Again, it reminds me a bit of Oxford. Like a mini version of Oxford behind the goal.
They don't have anything behind the goal at Oxford.
The other
on one
goal.
end,
The other
the other
goal.
goal.
I
Yeah.
tell you what, I'd speak to Wardy. I'd be going, and he'd be going, "What, the stands at Oxford?" He doesn't know what stands which, does he?
No.
But anyway, Bristol Rovers, decent point for them. Overall, disappointed that you conceded that late on. 2 wins, 2 draws, 1 defeat under Andy Mangan. A decision on managerial role, I think, has to be made as soon as
It's taken
possible.
a while, isn't it? It's taken a while.
You look at Lincoln, it took nearly a month. It's 5 games. It's 10% of your season. They've not had a gaffer. And I think it'll be 5 weeks tomorrow that Joey Barton got sacked. That is a huge, huge period. And, Mangan's done well for the time being. Players like Anthony Evans, who got an assist on Saturday, has come out and said he wants him to get the job full time. And it was Grant Ward with his first goal of the season. It was a nice finish as well. But again, Orient found a way. They've found a way in a lot of games, this season to manage to get something. And 22 points. Next target, 25 points. Be open to get a couple of wins on the belt as well. They've got FA Cup Saturday. Thoughts on this one? I think it's 2 typical League One sides that will finish between 11th and 15th.
Yeah, it's not a classic, is it? Not a lot between the two sides either, I don't think. It's a really nice finish from Grant Ward for his first of the season, just before half-time. Orient probably could and maybe should have got back into it earlier than they did in the second half. Then at the death, as you say, late piece delivery, causing all sorts of problems in the box. And Orient got, I think, just about what they deserved, to be honest with you, Ben. For a little bit of fortune that Crammer couldn't deal with it properly. Rovers really need a win, don't they, when Cheltenham go to their place in a few weeks before back-to-back Bolton and Blackpool away to follow. That is tough. Orient still waiting for their first league win since the 14th of October. Derby and Bolton have come before Christmas as well. So it's 2 teams in the next couple of weeks where actually the run-up to Christmas is going to be important. And I think if you're kind of the Rovers hierarchy, you probably want someone in the building before back-to-back Bolton and Blackpool away, just to kind of, no disrespect to the interim geezer, but you do need a galvanizing figure that's actually going to come in and make an impact, particularly for those 2 trips. They're long trips from Bristol to go to Bolton and the Blackpool back-to-back away from home. That needs someone at the helm that is showing the leadership that they're going to need to get through that couple of days or that week, because that is going to be tough on them mentally, as well as being really tough on them from a physical output point of view, because those 2 teams will demand an awful lot of Bristol Rovers. So see how that one goes.
Absolutely. And also keep your comments coming in the chat below and get liking. It does help the channel out a lot. Burton 0, Portsmouth 2, as I see a little smile raise. Burton struggling, aren't they? A couple of defeats. They've not scored now, I think 4 games. Last goal came away at Carlisle away. They lost that game, went 1-0 up. But again, a decent little performance from Portsmouth. They got the job done in the elements that they wanted to do. And again, Robertson, a really, really good goal. You kind of turned into, jury, didn't you? What was it? Man City's boy, he's Portsmouth's man, and you're absolutely loving it. And it was a really nice team goal where 4 players involved in it. And Robertson, he made it look so easy into the postage stamp, into the corner. Obviously, a penalty as well early in that first half. Good result, 2-0 away at Burton. Tricky tie to go to, Burton, sometimes, because they can make it difficult for you as well. And again, an unbelievable support by the Portsmouth fans. Over 1,000 making the way trip, which 42% of the crowd last night were Portsmouth fans.
Can I say that doesn't surprise me, or is that maybe a little bit? I don't know. I'm surprised it's 42%. We were one of the first chants I heard when we got into the ground was we've got more fans than you, which sometimes happens, and it was happening during the League 2 days when we were right down there. I build on exactly what you said there, and I said to you on the phone earlier on today, didn't I, that Saturday was everything that you wouldn't associate with a John Messino side that we saw from Pompey, and Tuesday ended up being pretty much everything that you would associate with us. There is I'll get into it in a little bit more detail. It's something that you wouldn't have seen on the highlights. There's a bit of an injury dilemma that I'm worried about. I do implore you, as Ben said there, to go and see that second Pompey goal if you haven't already. Norris with trademark distribution. Sadie brings it down so well, uses all his strength that we know he has so much of, control to keep that ball moving, looking for the best choice. I love his physicality. He's so good. He keeps his head up the whole time as well. He goes with Kamara in the end. Kamara's got enough awareness to go for Rafferty. Then the cutback and the vision is sublime. It doesn't look like it's Alex Robertson's first senior goal. Really nice finish. He could quite easily, Ben, be one of the best technical players I've seen in a Pompey shirt in a very long time. I love him a bit. Abu Kamara's outstanding, man of the match, won the penalty. The issue we have is the Colby Bishop went down injured, which is a worry. We obviously have discussed at length the Paul dilemma. Ogilvy's not fit. I'm worried about maybe does Robertson then continue to perform and sort of not raises the eyebrows, but perhaps catches the eye of the Socceroos management that might be interested in having him at AFCON. Can we afford to lose our best goal scorer and one of the most bankable goal scorers at this level, plus our best defender and the man who's shown real leadership qualities in Regan Poole? No, we can't. No use yet, of course, but I fear that if Colby's not back ready, I said this to you earlier, if he's not back ready for the visit of Bolton in a few weeks, this great start to the season might become a little unstuck quite quickly. Yengi's fantastic. I really like him. I know you like him too, Ben. I think the minutes he's looking like he will get now is great for him and his finishing superb. Paul's irreplaceable in my eyes. We can tinker around in the absence of Colby. Let's hope he's okay. What are you smiling at? Oh, someone spotted the background.
Oh,
Fantastic.
we got two. That was half of Fleetwood's away support last night at Wigan. Get in. No, good result. And bounce back ability was there in full show. It was a professional performance. If Burton had gone and scored in the first 5-10 minutes, you're kind of thinking, that first 15-20 minutes was always very, yes, indeed. It's very tricky. And you got through it, and it was a professional performance. And again, I think we saw a different side to Portsmouth yesterday where it was convincing, but it wasn't at the same time, where it felt like this could be tricky at any given time if Burton scored. But Portsmouth, kind of was in gear B, gear C. And again, if they can keep playing like that, obviously it'd be nice to see them in the A game once in a while. But again, job done.
Are you worried about Colby? He's rolled his ankle and it ballooned, and we'll hear more tomorrow, really. So
it would be bad. It's going to be a few weeks. I always say that if you're out the FA Cup in the first round and you can play you can arrange a league game that was was delayed early in the season or was on a Tuesday night that you could bring to a Saturday, you should do it. And I bet you were buzzing at the time that you don't have to go to Northampton. I bet now you're kind of thinking, here we go. And we kind of called Port Vale away off and Bristol Rovers away off. That was like 8 weeks ago, the Port Vale one, and we've not rearranged it. And it's like, I think we're waiting sneakily till January just to get players in the building. You play, I think Port Vale won't be too bothered at that because they'll want players back. So he is going to be a big, big blow. And I think, did we say something on Teal Up a few weeks ago going, if one was to get injured, who would be the biggest blow? And now you've got both of them out. So you've seen you with that Pool for the last two games. Bishop is a goal scorer and he is the difference. And the thing is as well, if he doesn't score, he has 2 or 3 chances a game the way he looks like scoring. I like your Yengis, I like your Kamaras, I like those types of players, but they're not a Colby Bishop. And for me, Alfie Mate, Dion Charles, Jordan Rhodes are the kind of 3 or 4 that I would think. But there's only kind of Jordan Rhodes I think could do what Colby Bishop does for you. Dion Charles is more of a defensive forward, kind of presses from the front. Colby Bishop is a hold-up player, will bring others into it, will do the nasty, it can hold it, can pin defenders, and can score goals. And I don't think anyone else in this league can do it as good as, as Colby, never mind at Portsmouth at this moment in time. So, but if you want to go up, if you want to win the league, you're going to have to go through difficult moments. He's getting through till January. If you can get through till January now, at the next 6 games, they'll win 3, if not 4 of them, draw 1, maybe aim to lose minimum 1 out the 6 at the max. I think you would have done well.
Against you.
I'll tell you what, if I'm in that away in 80 minutes, Portsmouth 0, Fleetwood 1, I'll be like, Come on. My old ticker wouldn't be able to deal with it, but we'd get through. Right, okay, next up, Cambridge 0, Lincoln
Here we
3.
go.
Now, you know that also we were talking about Dills being a bit reactionary to that defeat at Portsmouth the other day, and at Blackpool, sorry. And I think Jake's overtaken that. I woke up this morning at 7:30, by the way, to a message from my mate Jake. Ben, I think we're going to do it, right? Calm down. It was still very early into the season. That's what I'm telling myself about Fleetwood anyway. But it was a really, really good result. 3-0. You've got Mandroy scoring another penalty as well. You've got another clean sheet, back-to-back away wins as well at Orient and Cambridge. A decent point on Saturday where they rescued it late. They rescued a point against Port Vale late on. The spirits there. You've got, Scuba at the end and Tom Shaw. Very in sync, by the way. Fist pump as well. I was very impressed about that. And, you got the away fans smiling again and the players smiling again. So it's a really good result. We'll come to Cambridge in a minute because something's happened today. But Lincoln, outstanding, 15 points away from home this season, playing 11. So they played the majority away from home.
You've got a donation, Ben. So...
Oh, what a guy. Thank you so much.
Don't want you to miss that. It's the same guy who said that he liked the background. So appreciate that even more.
There's the Star Boy.
He's
got a good YouTube channel, by the way. Go and give him a little subscribe.
AJW, there we go. Go subscribe to AJW. Someone else who's got a good YouTube channel. He's just tuned in. He's here for the big moment where we talk about Cambridge. We're probably going to talk
here for the Cambridge.
Well, to be fair, he probably is. We are going to talk about Cambridge in a minute. I think probably talk about the game first and then get on to the Bonner chat. I hope Jakey's watching this and he's probably thought about this when it happened, when he was watching it. But when the penalty was given for Lincoln, it's an absolute carbon copy of the one that Pompey were denied by Declan Bourne a few weeks ago on Abu Kamara, right? It's literally the same challenge, same area, same sort of challenge. Only difference is one gets given, the other one doesn't. Maybe it's a little bit more pace, granted, but I think they're both penalties. I just don't like the fact that we have zero consistency with it, Ben, from official to official. Anyway, that's not the important thing. Needed to get that off the chest because I'm sure Jakey will be understanding of that. Calmly dispatched from Jake's mate Danny. Fabulous run from Ethan Hamilton. Just a shame the strike was a little tame and easy for Jack Stevens to gather. Dylan Duffy certainly tested Stevens' gathering ability. After that, the power completely beats the Cambridge keeper. Just his second goal since joining the club in January, Ben, and what a way to do it. And Ethan Hamilton clearance prevented a goal back for the U's. And then it's pinball in the box for the third. And Jack Vale is on the scene to make sure. But the big news of the day, of course, is about 10 o'clock this morning, wasn't it? After almost 4 years in charge, they've disposed with Wardy's mate Bonner. And Alfie thinks it's the right decision, by the way. I spoke to him earlier on. He said it was the right decision.
Yeah, in September, middle of September, they gave him a new deal. I think it was 76 days ago. I put up this morning. And for me, that never really felt right for me. It felt very reactionary to a decent-ish start. Now, last season, I think they went 20 without a win. Half a season, they were on 30 points for an absolute age. They got some decent draws in there. And then at Easter, we went down there and they beat us, they beat Port Vale away, they beat Aki away, they beat Forest Green Rovers at home, and they got some really good results. Sam Smith kind of, Jesus arose at Easter again, Cambridge arose again, and it really did feel like one of the best escapes that we've ever seen in League One, because it was. And I think they got, 13 points from the last kind of 6 games to kind of get them out of that dogfight. And Mark Bonner, what he did there, not just for that run, he won them promotion, he got them over the line. The first season in League One, they never had absolutely any doubt at all that they were going to stay up. They finished very comfortably. Them and Cheltenham did really well that season and kind of finished about 15 points above the drop, mostly for how bad the bottom 4 was, but mostly for how good they were. Even if the bottom 4 were 6 or 7 points better, they'd still be 10 points above them. So, again, did very well that season. Last season, kept them up, was in there, and kind of had credit in the bank. This season started off well, won the first 2-0, away home to Oxford, away at Fleetwood. And it kind of felt right, good start. And I had people coming up to me going, you're wrong about Cambridge. And I went, hold on a little bit, because every week they kind of, they've got a good team. Ahadmi, Okiminabere, Kachunga, Kai, Thomas, Cousins, Brophies. I know Ads loves him. I think he's like the kind of the ginger version of Pele. But it kind of felt the squad was going to be tested, and you can't go Saturday, Tuesday with playing the same team. And unfortunately for them, 1 win in 13. I know they've drawn a couple of times in there as well at home to Portsmouth, away at Derby, and they've been all right. I just felt like they were on a downward spiral, like Exeter are at the moment, like Port Vale are at the moment. So for me, I think it is the right decision. I do. He will go down as a Cambridge legend. He really will. And I don't think he'll be out of football for too long. I kind of maybe see, maybe 3 or 4 months and him back in a role somewhere along the lines. And, he did a good job. And it's a shame it's come to it. Obviously, there'll be relief, but I think there's always a bit of sadness when a manager leaves it. I've been there. After it, you kind of feel it. The next appointment for Cambridge is huge because I think they need someone to come in away from the football club to have a fresh look at it. Danny Cowley screams to me. And a new training facility, backs against the walls, like we said in the chat before. No one really expecting anything of it. Decent squad, League One squad, decent budget, good set of fans. I think Cambridge away fans are brilliant. I really do. They'll get behind him. And Nicky Cowley thrive on being loved. And I think he'll get that at the Abbey.
Can I briefly read from the chief football writer at Times Sport, Henry Winter, tweeted today. He said, when Mark Bonham was 10, he did a school project on what he wanted to be when he was older. And he wrote that he wanted to be Cambridge United manager. He achieved that, bringing promotion to League One, as you've mentioned there. Remember that FA Cup win over a strong Newcastle United side as well, Ben? That deserves a mention too.
Side.
Big moment.
You lost him as well. You've got to remember, sorry to interrupt, they've lost Nick, right. Smith, Ironside.
Yeah.
That's 3 big players. The players they brought in, your Kaiser, Hadmi, I don't think are better. I don't. And young Bennett at the back, I think is one of their best players. But Steven is a good goalkeeper. Andrew's experience not lived up to it. I don't think they improved the squad in the summer because I kind of think recruitment-wise, I don't think he's been backed as well. Yeah. So I think that's worth mentioning.
Yeah, and the other thing as well for Bonner is the reconnection job he did with making those fans fall back in love with their club again. I don't. There's very few people that have done that any better, and I suppose Danny Cowley's a great candidate to be argued in that sort of conversation. He'll always be a legend there. We did speak about it earlier on today, didn't we? And I think they're obviously going to be after a manager now or a head coach or whatever that has had experience at this level. I think that's really important for them. I think you're right, someone who's completely separate to it. I think it is a job for the Cowleys. They're good man managers, which is what they're going to need. You're talking about the squad there. They've got a lot of good tools to work with. They'll try and galvanise the place a little bit more. Obviously slipping quite far down the table under Bonner in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, I could see that working. I really could. And I wonder if that, when Cowley the last couple of weeks is sort of, he's kind of ebbed and flowed with, is this the right appointment for us, etc., etc. I could see him going, yeah, this is the right one. We could do this. So yeah, I mean, we'll wait and see. I know we're being quite reactionary. It's only sort of the first couple of hours after we're 10 hours on from the announcement, but that one feels like the right fit to me. But we'll see how it develops.
Agree with you there. Going to Charlton, Dean Holden, potentially ex-Charlton, could go there as well, as mentioned in the chat. If you go to around about 7.5 minutes, Blackpool, Northampton, he spoke about there. Charlton 2, Cheltenham 1. You talk about, Alex Robertson being Man City's boy and Portsmouth's man. Alfie May was a big man for Cheltenham. Him coming back to bite Cheltenham. 2 penalties, secured another win for the Addicts at home. And again, it was an impressive performance by the Addicts. But Cheltenham were in their good win with a nice little goal, 4th goal of the season. And Darryl Clark got him playing belief, got him playing with character, spirit, scoring goals and having to go away at Blackpool's, away at Charlton's, at home to Derby, and home to Wigan as well. And again, they are in games now. And again, that second half was poor for them and they never shot on target. And expected goals of 0.25, but again, Charlton found a way through. 2 opinionated, I think. You could say yes or no. I think both of them are penalties, especially that second one, the arms up. So Again, I think Salford was very unlucky not to say both of them went the right way. Alfie made power on the first one, hit with power. And then the second one was a nice finish into the far corner, which Salford did guess right, but a good result for Michael Appleton's men, who are kind of, climbing up that table. Alfie made up to 14 goals for the season. We're not even halfway yet.
Yeah, it's impressive, isn't it? Can I just say, correct prediction from yours truly over here for the game. I was feeling this.
Well done. Well done.
Thanks very much. I'm still a couple of points off you, mate. So I'm just so happy that I'm climbing up because I was so rubbish at it for
Mind
so
the
long.
gap.
Yeah, absolutely minding the gap. Yeah, both pens are emphatic from everywhere. That's one of my favourite things about last night is how much pizzazz he hits his pens with. It is a joke, and I think Gavin Ward, makes the right call for both. I'm in agreement with you there. Teo Eden saw his strike come off the back of the post, so very unlucky for that one. I think he's a massive difference maker coming back into that Charlton side. Difficult for Cheltenham. I didn't ever feel like they were completely out the game, if I'm honest with you, Ben.
No.
And to go to the Valley and not be completely out the game, I think it's a real sign of where they're at. Again, second penalty, correct decision as well. The arm's in an unnatural position. Will Ferry can probably count himself a little unlucky as he slides in. I think his arm's just in the wrong place. Other end, same result. Another pile driver of a pen from Alfie May. Get this, Ben. Charlton go unbeaten in the whole month of November in League One and in all competitions as well.
They've played a few games, haven't they? The Cray Valley. Again, mate, I'm never wearing a thin coat to a football match ever again. I was absolutely freezing, and I'm going to order one of those Gary Neville heated gilets. I'm not tempted. It's got to be done. It has to be done. Again, on Cheltenham, they're not too far adrift, are they?
Doing all right, aren't they?
Look at it, like they are in games now, which is the most important thing. And you look at Reading. They've improved. Cheltenham have improved. Would you go to far as saying if Darrell Clark kept Cheltenham up, he's up for manager of the season, if not the manager of the season? Because he came in and scored a goal in 12, had they?
Yeah. So it's a big old job if he does. I'd be very, very impressed, and he would have the keys to the town of Cheltenham, Ben, if he managed that. And to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't put it past him. I think the form of Reading is making life slightly more difficult, and maybe that makes it not look as quite a good job as he's doing at the minute because they're obviously still rock bottom. But having said that, I think we said it when he came in, didn't we? All four of us on T-Lot were like, well, that's a great appointment. And I think everyone who kind of keeps an eye on EFL goings on knows that we knew at the time that was a really good appointment. So, yeah, I mean, still a long way to go for Cheltenham. Of course, still a lot of football to be played, but that's on their side. The fact that there is so much football to be played is very much beneficial to them. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one, but I think it could be a serious job if he does do it.
An absolute classic in League One. Exeter 0, Shrewsbury 0.
Called this one.
Called by yours truly.
Did you get it as well?
Yeah, because you kind of thought, well, he's on this while ago. But it was. I just thought Exeter would go back to basics and would really grind on, and there'd be a reaction there. And Shrewsbury, 7 points in 12. They're getting results, they get draws, they get wins, and they can get points on the board. And what Shrewsbury want to do this season, they're doing. But the football they play is awful. They don't really create many chances, and it kind of seems that feels very much like Scott Brown last season. For a Shrewsbury fan, I bet there's a few of them that are frustrated that they can fluke a result now and again just because Matt Taylor will kind of live on and kind of have credit in the bank there. But again, a decent point away at Exeter that, again, first clean sheet in 10 matches, lost 8 of those last 10. Draws at home to Lincoln and now Shrewsbury. So again, picking up points at home, which is good. Unbeaten in the last 2. So slow positives for both.
Yeah, not a lot going on in this one. I like you, was very interested in seeing how Exeter would respond to given the defeat at the weekend. Diabate came pretty close off the back of a Reece Cole delivery from deep. Other than that, there wasn't an awful lot between the two. Again, it's similar to the Rovers Orient game we talked about earlier on. Reece Cole off the outside of the post from a set piece is probably as close as the game got to seeing a goal. There was a breakaway moment towards the end of the game, and it's something we've seen already this season. Actually, Ben, too many times. I've been given a lot of games at Exeter for T-Lop to sort of watch back and keep an eye on. They get caught on the counter so many times. I think it's because of the one-dimensional nature of Gary Caldwell's side. They are constantly open, and with no disrespect to Shrewsbury whatsoever and Daniel Udo, who you'd back as a pretty clinical finisher, I I think a better quality side would have punished Exeter there. And no league wins for the Grecians since the 16th of September. If Bonner's lost his job off the strength of Cambridge's form recently, Ben, do you feel like Exeter are too... I know they don't normally sack managers, but they mustn't be too far away from dispensing with their gaffer at this moment in time, surely.
The next 3 games are huge, and I kind of
Mm.
see, well, if they've already had meetings out signing certain players, you've got to do it before January if you're going to sack Carlisle, because their January is going to be huge for them. I really do. And I don't know if I'll see many more sackings before. I said this. I went, don't know if I could see another sacking before Christmas. I really can't. And, the one this morning surprised me a little bit after signed a new long-term deal. Was it till 2026? Something like that. I thought, well, what was there an agreement in that contract where we only pay you for till the end of the season? Or it's very interesting. I think Ruben Sellers was close call, but 2 wins in a row has kind of bought him time. Shrewsbury bought time. Port Vale maybe next up, but yeah, very interesting indeed. Next up, hype around this game. Oxford 0, Bolton 0. A decent point for both. First point under Des Buckingham. First home game for him as well. Bolton, another clean sheet for them. They haven't lost for a number of games now. 5 straight clean sheets, 7 in all competitions as well. 36 days without conceding. That day away at Wycombe where they won 4-2. They're absolutely thriving, doing really well in the division. Only lost once away from home this season, as well as away at Reading, of all teams as well. Good point for both, I think. Oxford, probably a better one for them after losing at Cheltenham.
Yeah, 2 extremely strong teams. Wardy told us it was tight first half, not a lot in it. Bolton probably edging the second 45. Overall feeling was that the game was incredibly close. And he also said that Josh Sheehan was the best player he'd seen all season, which I'm not surprised by. We both know how brilliant that boy is. Carl Edwards struck the top of Nathan Baxter's crossbar. James Beadle did well on a couple of occasions to prevent Dion Charles from scoring. Jack Iredale tested him as well. All the clips I've seen, Ben, suggests it was a proper battle between 2 of the best squads that we have at this level. And a 0-0 draw probably tells you all you need to know about how well matched they both were. I think you could probably see a draw coming from a mile off because they're just 2 really good teams. And obviously we had a 4-0 at the weekend, but I could see the top crop of teams, 1-1 draw against Derby, Port, in between Derby and Portsmouth. I could see us drawing against Oxford whenever we play them. We don't know when that one's going to be. I'm hoping for a 1-1 or something similar, even maybe it swing Pompey's way for when they come to Fratton Park in a couple of weeks down from Greater Manchester. I think that one's, the fact that there wasn't much between this game maybe even makes that one, from a League One point of view, maybe makes Pompey Bolton at Fratton Park even more exciting because, are we going to see goals in that one? When like Man City, Liverpool play each other and it's a boring 0-0, it's like which team doesn't want to blink? You don't want to make that mistake. You don't want to be the one that commits the error that costs your team. I feel like it's probably a similar night that we saw there.
Agree. Yeah, again, Shrewsbury. Obviously, they had Shipley out for a period of time as well. They had Udo out for a long period last season as well. So Rangers haven't been very kind to them. They are doing well. Points-wise, Shrewsbury are doing very well. There's no denying that. And Taylor's doing a decent job of getting results. And that is the difference between your Fleetwoods, your Exeters, your Port Vales, your Cheltenhams, Reading up until recently as well. And that is a difference because you can grind out a win. You can win 1-0, you can win 2-0, you can find something, you can find that spark. You've got a very good League One side, and probably reflecting where you're on the table is whether you're happy with that, playing this football long term. Because I felt under Scott Brown, it run its course. So I kind of feel like it will do for now, and a good first season like this with kind of the new way shoes are being ran, I kind of think it is a good one. Port Vale 0, Derby 1. Derby slowly but surely. I think that's 4 wins on the bounce now for Paul Warne's men, and again slowly creeping up that table into the playoffs, and doing really well, which is good to see. For Paul Warne, his sides normally get better as the seasons go on, and we're seeing the fruits of that as well. Mendes Lang, again, 4 goals and an assist now in his last 6 games, assisting John Jules. first touch of the game, first goal for Derby after some tough loan spells at your Lincolns, your Blackpools. We did all right at Doncaster and fairness. Ipswich struggled a little bit as well. Sheffield Wednesday struggled as well. But again, big goal, 17 points now at home, 16 away. So again, kind of matching up. 8th clean sheet of the season. Good win away at Port Vale, who one win in 11, which is difficult.
Yeah, they're 2 points inside the playoffs now, Derby. I mean, there was a point at which we were, questioning whether Paul Warren would be staying there, weren't we? So I feel like that was just a few short weeks ago. So yeah, I mean, there's a great stop from Conor Ripley to deny Tyrese Forner. It probably could have been a couple more if he wasn't as alert to it. What I like about this is Derby have been crying out for a striker to attack that 6-yard box for quite some time. As you say, within literally a minute of Tyrese John Jules going on, he did exactly that. Off the bench in minute 76, on the score sheet in minute 77. As you said, first touch back from injury, bags the winning goal that sends the Rams home with all 3 points. Shout out to Kane Wilson as well, Ben. He's a fantastic footballer. He's really kind of mastered that art of winning the ball back and getting your team going again, which I think will continue to be a really key ingredient to Derby's success moving forward. I feel like with Port Vale, it's difficult to put your finger on. I would maybe put it down to an individual error. It's sort of been, 4 or 5 games where they're just, individuals are just costing them in the key moments and they're not picking up enough points. Me and you have had this conversation before, and I will never understand why Ellis Harrison was either allowed to let go or made that move, or there wasn't a better move on the table for him, because he played for both our clubs, hasn't he?
He should never. When he left Fleetwood for Port Vale last year, and I felt very similar. I think Port Vale fans will feel the same. We should never, ever have let Ellis Harrison leave our football club. He got wrongly slandered at Fleetwood. At Portsmouth, it's different because you expect so much different. If we can score 10, 12 goals a season for Fleetwood, job done. For Portsmouth, you need him to get double that. And that's what Colby does. That's what Marquis did for a season. That's what Pittman did. And they're kind of, when you look at their seasons, that's why they go down as better strikers for you. Ellis Harrison won every header for Fleetwood. He does just nobody up with him. He pins it and he can score a goal. And he went on a great run at the start for Vale. Slundered out a little bit. They brought Loft in, who is not a better striker in my eyes than an Ellis Harrison. And Ikpuzu up front as well. They've got really good backup options. Your Chislets, your Devines, your Garrities, your Ojos. Or Blaster, I think, is one of the best loan signings this season. With Robertson in my eyes as well. He's just getting a striker that can score goals and then not making that individual error, and they'll be all right.
Yeah, absolutely. Spot on.
Absolutely. Next up, Stevenage 2, Peterborough 2. For me, I was looking forward to this game more than Oxford Bolton because I knew there'd be goals. I was going to go 2-2, and I went 1-1, and I thought, crap, I've got 3 points here, and I listened back to T-Lop, and you got it right, not me. So well done for that. Stevenage, I tell you what a clash in styles, by the way. You've got Peterborough, fancy football, get it out to the wingers, cross the ball, play fast, play direct, get it into Jones, Mason Clark, Pokus, Randalls, get it through Cipriano and Collins in midfield, get your wing backs in Burrows and Kisro, up the pitch as well, and get goals. Dominate proceedings against Stevenage, who had 25% of possession, 11 shots, 5 on target. They've now scored 5 goals from their last 8 shots on target. That is very clinical indeed, and that is, pretty much what you want to see. Pretty much a 60% conversion rate, and he went 2-0 up. And Whittling with a fantastic goal, by the way. He's only scored 6 goals in 200 plus appearances for Stevenage. And Thompson, like buses, you wait for a goal, get one at Fleetwood, and you score 2 and 2. Goalkeeper you have to look at, but he did hit it with a lot of power, a lot of energy, and it came from very short range as well. Peterborough got back into the game as well, which is good to see. Jones now 3 assists in his last 3 as well. And the second goal suddenly just crept in. A decent point for both before the game, but Stevenage will be thinking that could cost us. Great point for Borough.
Yes, there's so much to unpack with this one, isn't there? There's a couple of goal of the night contenders in here as well, Ben. What a hit from Luther Walden as well. Dan Butler inadvertently tees up Ben Thompson, as you said there. Another emphatic finish, bit of fortune, touch from Archie Collins. I absolutely loved Ben Thompson at Pompey, and I know you rate him highly too. Against his former side, of course, and there was quite a lot of celebrating going on. So we do want to talk about the prediction. The absolute most of it as we possibly can, because this will be the one and only week where it goes my way. massive credit, as you said there, massive credit to Posh for getting themselves back into it. The naughtiest of finishes from Randall, by the way, on the spin just after half-time. Stevenage will be gutted that Ricky J. Jones had so much time and space in the box to bring the ball down and finish as he did. Take nothing away from it, though, because I think it's a really tidy put away. Question about the penalty at the end, but I know Stevenage fans watching won't let us move on from it, I'm sure, unless we talk about it. I haven't actually seen any of the highlight packages really show it. They seem to think it's a stone wall. I think Peterborough deserving of a point and given how strong they were. And I know you're saying about the styles there, and I'm massively with you on it. They were particularly strong all second half. And we knew Stevenage would be up there given the assembling they did in the summer, but you saw them yourselves at the weekend, Ben. I didn't think we expected fourth after having played 20 games. That's quite some doing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And, Matt Farley was saying to me 70 points would get you in. I think it's projected around that 74, 75 would get you in this year, which is slightly lower than previous seasons. But they're just on a journey and I really like it. And, they've had the players like your Van Coutens, your Widlands that have been there a while. And, Big Goal Reedy, is a huge player for them. Roberts and Hemmings, the way they can press and the way they can, they don't just get the goals and the assists and the attention that Reed does, but he can add stuff to them. Butler, an experienced player, who's very good as well. Pajani, outstanding at what he does, tough centre half. He's kind of an old school where the elbows will be going in and, real hard as nails. Salford letting him go was an absolute joke, by the way. Joke. So from Blackburn then. Thompson as well, an experienced player that you know a lot about as well. Ashby Hammond's a good goalkeeper. At this level, Peterborough are a different animal. Now they really are, and they can get back into games. It was a typical Peterborough game of 2 years ago where you thought they're going to lose it, but then they kind of got the jaws from defeat, and 37 goals scored now, same as Bolton. Bolton scored 7 the other day. So again, they're absolutely phenomenal to watch. Jones, Randall, Poku, Mason Clark, Kiprianu, Collins. That is an outstanding front six. Yeah. And Jones is probably kind of the weaker link out of the lot, as terms of goals and assists, but 3 assists in 3. They didn't even make a sub yesterday, Peterborough. I think that, and they had Adji Boy on the bench, Clark Harris on the bench. We know Clark Harris is going, but I like the way that they're not, kind of using him before they lose him. They kind of get into grips without him, which I think is really good as well. And we'll go to Wigan have scored. I said they would 3 times. There we go. Look, Fleetwood lost first time under Lee Johnson. Now, the game started and straight away, Wigan fast, direct. Marshall Goddu completed 11 dribbles yesterday, which is the most it's been in a League One game. I want to say that he's the best performance I've seen from a player against Fleetwood this year. And he didn't even score, and he should have scored. I thought Callum Lang was outstanding, by the way. There were a couple of occasions where he could have scored. He set Jones up on it on a couple of occasions and looked absolutely back to his usual self, playmaking just behind Humphreys, who had a good game. Jones scored his first goal for the football club. Had loan spells in Scotland last year where they wanted to recall him, but couldn't quite do that. Smith and Adiko midfield pivot really well as well. And, your Clares, your Pearce first goal for the football club as well. Got a couple of assists. I think he got 3 assists in his first 4. Been in and out of the team since. And Hughes, Rekick and Tickle, a young partnership there. They like to play out from the back, Wigan, and it caused them a few problems. Fleetwood pressed very well. And a couple of times, Fleetwood should have scored. Broom should have scored. Patterson could have scored. Earl could have scored. Hennigan could have scored. Marriott could have scored. There was occasions where Fleetwood could have scored at 1-0. They got the other end. Look, it's a horrible error. It's on Sean Rooney's side again, and I don't like calling out players because it's not what I like doing. And it's on that Broom/Rooney side, and kind of felt at times we were playing a back 3 at times where Broom was right wing back looking back, and it wasn't like that at all. Rooney was so far in kind of the centre that they just had so much joy, and it goes off Lynch. And Lynch did well last season. There's a lot of goals this year. He should have done better with it. He'd be disappointed with, and then it goes down the other end and Josh Hill goes down. It wasn't a penalty in my eyes. It wasn't a dive. There was contact. It was soft. It wasn't a penalty. It wasn't a dive. And he gets sent off. It changes the game. And that second half was a horrible, horrible watch. And I felt sorry for the players. I actually clapped them probably more than I would normally do because the effort was there. They stuck in the game and it could have gone 3. It could have gone 4. It could have gone 5. Mainly due to the kind of think Wigan calmed it down a little bit, just kind of did the basics right. Wanted to keep a clean sheet, which I understand. And Wigan were good. They weren't going to easier than that all season. For Fleetwood, I starting to get worried because I've been on the train that will be all right. And I still am. Lee Johnson's a good manager at this level. But since Lee Johnson's came into the football club, we've lost 4-1 at home to Wycombe. We've lost 3-0 at home to Oxford, 3-0 at home to Stevenage, 3-0 away at Wycombe, and 1-0 against Lincoln. And that Lincoln, we were awful, by the way. We're losing badly. We are. And it's 2 points adrift. We don't look really like we can kill teams off like we did against Exeter. We're creating chances. The issue is we concede too many goals early on. Oxford early goal, Lincoln early goal, today early goal, and we struggle getting back into games. Fair play to Wigan, but I honestly, I like Wigan as a football club. I was about to say love them, that's a bit too far, but like Wigan as a football club, and what they've been through, the way they can kind of promote the youth and the belief that they have. I just don't want to go back there. But again, be careful what you wish for, because I do want to go back there, but just not now.
I'd be honest, but I don't really know how to follow that because you just delivered a Shakespearean-style monologue. I'll give you a bit of a comeback. Well, not a comeback, because I'm going to support what you just said. But on the penalty, I don't like yellows given for simulation because I think the ref has to be an absolute... he's just trying to wind you up. It's not a dive, is it? I think the ref has to be in absolutely no doubt that he's going to give it, right? He has to know that it's a dive, plain and simple, black and white, right? I actually think it's more of a pen than it is a dive. That's the most disappointing thing. I think he's taken a very sort of, I don't know. I would have liked a bit more of an open-minded look on it. But look, that's by the by. I'm sure I'm sure that maybe would have changed the game. Imagine if he gives a penalty, we're living in a different world, aren't we? So, I won't add any more on it, Ben, because I know I don't want to talk about it for too much longer. I just hope you are going back to Wigan again next season.
I hope so as well. I tell you what, Wigan fans very friendly, and again, I always like going there just because of the fact that he's always a friendly welcome as well. And again, and thanks to the lad that supported the channel that came and knocked on the car last night to ask to say the support for the channel. Nearly give me a heart attack, by the way, at 10 o'clock at night. But again, thank you for that if you are watching. Reading now 5-1 against Carlisle, scored 7 in their last, scored 18, in the last 6, which is unbelievable. That's in all competitions against MK Dons, against Arsenal Academy, here, against Shrewsbury, against Portsmouth as well, in there as well. Great win. Lewis Wing with an absolute pile driver, and he does like a long shot from distance. Even against Fleetwood, he was unlucky. Aziz with a couple of assists yesterday as well. 5 assists for the season. Nibs 2 goals, 3 goals and an assist for him this season. Against the Carlisle side, less than about the performance. They're better. New ownership. Oh, welcome to League One. Welcome to the football club. I'll tell you what, you've had it tough. Sam Lavelle, kind of from hero to villain as well. Again, they got back into the game. They've now lost 6 out of 9 away. And again, they've only picked up 10 points at home. That home form's got to improve, but the away form has got to change as well. They've got Blackpool and Fleetwood coming up in the next few weeks as well.
They have indeed, yes. I think it's probably, when we were in the summer and we were looking at all the different players coming into Reading, and you're thinking Harvey Nibbs, Sam Smith, Lewis Wing, even throw Charlie Savage in there. You're thinking, they're building quite a side there. I think that performance is absolutely everything that we would have expected on a far more regular basis from Reading. 5 points from safety after last night. It's another step in the correct direction for Reading. Jack Armour playing him on for Aziz finally on the score sheet. Initially, that one looked like a tight call. Back-to-back wins for the first time. I don't know if you know how long it is, Ben. It's a very long time since they've
over a year.
But yeah, it's been
a lot. Just got Paul Ince up the ding.
I spoke about a glimmer of hope on T-Lop at the weekend, and there's another one there. You mentioned all the goals there. I think actually even as an all-round game, Lewis Wing, I thought he was fantastic. He's proven he's one of the best in his division, and in his division, proved one of the best in his position in this division. For Reading's third, that ball control is a joke. The goal line clearance could have changed things for Carlisle. Luke Plange could have also had a second. Another goal of the game. The day contender for Lewis Wing. His contribution, ridiculous hit. Fantastic night for the Royals. On they go. And, this... Could it be a turning point, Ben? Who knows?
2 wins and 2. Take over looming. Say 5 points adrift. Gillingham did it last season, where takeover it's huge and it will affect teams down there. But as Fleetwood, just focus on ourselves and hopefully we'll be all right. Well, right, go on, Tom. To go through the League One table.
Let's do that.
Let's go. Again, Cheltenham occupy bottom of the table now. Reading just above Carlisle, 15 points from 19. Fleetwood, the less said, the better. 10th defeat out of 18 yesterday. 31 goals conceded. Nobody has conceded more than the Cods. Fleetwood only conceded 51 last season. 20 more, and we've only played 28 less games. So slightly worrying in my eyes as well. Port Vale and Exeter just above that. Cambridge and Burton slipping. I believe that bottom 8 will be the bottom 8 at the end of the season. I think Orient are miles above. Wycombe will be above that. Wigan will be in the top half. Cobblers will be fine. Shrewsbury will be fine. What's your overall takeaways?
One of my main takeaways is that there's 2 points between 5 teams from 14th down to 18th, which is quite interesting because the last couple of weeks that's kind of been happening, isn't it? Where Wigan, Wycombe, Leyton, Orient, Burton, Cambridge have all been kind of displacing each other. You could even add Port Vale into that argument and then go as far north as Northampton. Northampton up to 13th, Ben. That all happened quite quickly, didn't it?
I always say this: 3 wins in a row. If you can go back-to-back wins, Fleetwood have lost 2 games. Lost to Stevenage, who are 4th, and Wigan, who are good, who were the 9th without that. They'd be just outside the players to be where Lincoln are. And Lincoln are kind of going, well, we can get playoffs here. So it's not bad. It's just the way you've lost the games. And, look at Reading. They're on 7 points. If they don't win those games, they're 11 points adrift. All of a sudden now, you're only 5 points adrift. So it's huge for them. And Exeter sliding down that table. A couple of games in football.
Well, remember when Exeter were top about 6 weeks ago?
They were top. Top of the top.
Maybe it's slightly longer than 6 weeks ago, actually. We are
after 8 games of the season, they were both top. 16 and 15 points.
It's terrifying, isn't it? I'm going to look at it from a purely Fleetwood point of view just for a moment and be a bit self-indulgent. Are Exeter, Port Vale, Cambridge or Burton worse sides than you? I wasn't massively impressed with Burton last night. Well, I'll answer it for you. I don't think Burton were fantastic. I thought they had a difficult first half and they were better second half, but they were quite poor. So and for all the
better teams stay. I keep getting told, "Oh, you're better than 4 teams." I went, "We're not getting results. It doesn't matter." For me, I'm worried a little bit, but I think we'll be all right.
Is that 10 losses? Yeah, it is, isn't it?
10 losses.
So you think about it, there's not in the loss column. Burton lost 9, Cambridge lost 9, Port Vale lost 9, Exeter lost 10, Fleetwood lost 10, Carlisle lost 10, Reading lost 11. There's a similar sort of numbers, isn't it? There's not. Well, there's a little gap between sort of 17th and 20th, isn't there?
There's such a gulf in class between Orient onwards. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, fair play.
I'm glad that's starting to show now. And it's frustrating because there's no League One games for a couple of weeks now. And it goes.
Oh, there is.
Oh, there's one. Not everyone can be Magic in the FA Cup and beat Kidderminster or can beat non-league, the National League away. Just saying. No, it's going to be an interesting few weeks after Saturday. We'll go to the top half. Shrewsbury, Bristol Rovers 11th. I honestly think the table's starting to show the truth. Bar Wigan, it's telling the truth because Shrewsbury played more games. Shrewsbury played 20. Stevenage played 20. Bristol Rovers 11th. Charlton, I think, will be a bit higher, but again, their poor run. Only 7 points off their playoffs, but again, a couple of games in hand. The 10 off Stevenage with 2 in hand. Lincoln 9th, I think they'll be in and around that. Better that 11th place finish last season. Charlton finished above them on goal difference last year as well. Blackpool 8th, I think that will be where Blackpool will be in and around at the end of the season. And Barnsley, just outside. Again, the kind of win 1 in 2 Barnsley, and they kind of need to go kind of win 1 in 1.6 games averagely.
Nice.
No, win 5 and 8. There.
That's better.
There you are. Win 5 and 8, draw 1, lose 2, 16 points. That's 2 points a game. That's what I'm saying.
I'm going to marginally disagree with you. I think Blackpool are a playoff side minimum this season,
I just
given
think
what I
Critchley is
saw.
their biggest downfall. I really do.
Got it spot on at the weekend.
He
Couldn't have got
does.
it more spot on.
He does, and they've got good players. Jordan Rose will be huge if they can keep him, and they've got a good team. But I just think they've got so many more Northamptons at home in them. But they've got a lot of. When they lose, they play poorly. Bolton away, here, and away at Lincoln, away at Wycombe. But they have got to show a glimpse. I just think Peterborough, Stevenage, Derby. I think it's the case of the 6 teams more consistent than them. That is it. Not the fact that Blackpool are bad.
Can I ask one quick question?
Go on.
Who is going to finish in the top 2 this season in League One, as you see it right now, after 18, 19 games?
Bolton will win the league. I said that after 3 games. I'm absolutely confident in that. I think you'll get second. I really do. I think that Oxford will slowly fade. They will stay in the playoffs where they are. I don't think Stevenage have enough to mount in the top 2. I think playoffs. Peterborough, it's a bit like Spurs. They can be good for 10 games, but then be 3 or 4 games. I think they'll kind of fall away at your Fratton Parks like they did. Your Bolton's away. They got a decent draw, there to be fair. But I kind of think the bigger boys will get over the line in certain games where they might not. Derby, they're not far away. That's what I'll say. I kind of see
Not
Derby.
going to take a lot, is it, for Derby
challenger
to be right up there?
If they win 3 or 4 in a row, they've won 8 in a row, and they kind of behind. You've got momentum. 4 wins in a row sounds good. If you win another 3 or 4 or something, that sounds huge, doesn't it? What about you?
I suppose the last little bit would be that I don't want to take anything away from Stevenage's fantastic start. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
They've won half the games, mate.
They've won half their games. I feel like having played 20 games when all 3 teams above them and a couple below them have played 18, 19, that in a minute, when everyone's on level games, I can see that would be the moment where maybe Stevenage might drop a couple. A couple of positions, but
they're still averaging 1.8 points a game, which is enough for the playoffs.
No, and you think we spoke about the quality of Stevenage already earlier on. I don't want to take anything away from that because it's a fantastic team. But I feel like Barnsley are more what you expect conventional playoff material to be than them, and that's all. And I also think Blackpool are so much better than the table would suggest right now, and that's maybe just my closed-minded view of what I've seen in the flesh in League One. But Ben's taken that off, so it's now time to shut up about the league table. So I'll hand you back to the host.
Go on. Again, well done on 14,000 subscribers, Tom. Go and give him a little subscription if you haven't already.
15,000, but we'll take it.
All right, you're 14, on the road to 15. You're going so quick, you can barely catch up. That's what I'll say. Good work over there as well. And you even got a mention in the Wigan away vlog as well.
I was so happy about that. I watched it this morning. I was half dead, waking up thinking, oh my God, I've got to get up. And I saw that and I was like, you're even outside the ground as well. It didn't take that long. I was delighted, Ben. Thank you. And well done on such an excellent video on your end as well, mate. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much. And if you've got any final questions to close us out with, get them in as well and get liking the stream as well. Reading fan, pretty deflated, another embargo. Good performance from the team, getting confidence need to avoid the point deduction. Are there going to be any more point deductions? That's what I'm kind of waiting on.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? We'll all be waiting and seeing.
What's the rules for January? Because I don't really understand these embargoes. Fleetwood are in one, and we could still sign players. Winger's so good at getting the best out of the combination of Craig. Yeah, exactly. Craig and that those areas is huge, and I've been impressed with him as well. And you got a number of good young players, and you signed well. Ish when you could. They signed 4 in 4 days, didn't they? And they kind of thought, well, they knew the embargo was coming, so let's sign him in. Playoffs definitely for the Imps. You Royals. This is how unprepared we are. We don't even know ourselves.
Well, what are we doing?
It's a surprise. We know what we're doing. I'll tell you after the stream.
I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, we will do. We're getting a January video on teams. Yes, absolutely. I will be acquiring some of the services of the Teal Up Boys for that one. Again, Aston Villa vlogger came in before as well. Bolton giving the rest a lesson at the moment in Sky Bet League One. Again, Sean Maloney, manager of the season, if he got us into the playoffs, yeah, 100%. 8-point deduction. Players he couldn't really bring in that maybe he would have wanted. The budget wasn't allowed. to lift spirits with a young team, a good young team. Tickle, very good player as well.
God,
Hughes
yes.
at the back as well, very, very good player. Again, and then you've got your Langs, your Humphreys, your Goddos, who's outstanding. And you've just got a really good team, and he's created that. And they're playing out from the back. They're playing good football. They're scoring goals. They're winning games of football regularly. They're on a bad run where there was questions asked over him. And I said on TV, give him time. He'll be fine. They're always going to go on a bad run. And the issue was when you got to 0 points, well, what's the next goal? How did they react? And it took you a while, but slowly cooking now, which is always good. It's coming soon. The Christmas jumper is
I've got
coming
mine.
soon.
Ready to go.
Best player so far for Fleetwood and Portsmouth.
Well, I would say Regan Paul, but that's all gone down the Rodney hole. So I'm going to go Alex Robertson.
You pulled that one out of the hat, didn't you? Again, Fleetwood Junior Katerna for me. Outstanding young player.
Can we have Phoenix in January, please?
No,
Ben?
get lost. You've already had my other star boy. You can't have another one. You'll be taking Junior, the other one, won't you? It's a massive window. Wiradoo as well since coming back, and he's been an absolute brick wall at the back. Tom, thank you so much for joining me, mate.
You're very welcome.
Again, an hour and 5 minutes of pure League One action, and again, 4-0 written all over it. Go and subscribe. 15,000 subscribers nearly.
It's well over 15,000 now, mate.
Just.
Oh, thanks very much. It's been the best hour of my day, mate. Thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed it. I like your new graphics as well. Whoever sorted that out for you must be an absolutely fabulous gentleman. And I look forward to coming back on very soon.
He is a good 1 hour awardie, isn't he?
He's great. He's great. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. We're on the road to 13,000 subscribers. Or looking for some, not for this channel as well. So
absolutely.
Good help with that. Go and click the like, go and click notifications. And we'll be back with a Cambridge away vlog, the FA Cup as well. And a League One video next week as a replace for this show as well. Do you think Portsmouth will still make top 2 for that Wigan pool? Finally.
Depending on January.
Oh, if I had to ask you now?
Right now, I doubt it.
Wow. Okay. So, well, at least we'll get playoffs, so at least that'll be fun for one of us. Again, thank you so much for watching. A big over and out tonight. And again, up the Cods vlogs, up the League One, up the Cods and up the...
Play at Pompey.
There we go. Thanks for watching, guys.